everybody, this is the Daydreamer with Daydreams and Nightmares, and it is time for another edition of Welcome to My Collection Wednesdays. Still working on my Valiant books. Next title we're going to be talking about is Harbinger. I do have books in the background. I have some extras of this title. Not a lot. How about if I start with a little background? Harbinger is one of the first titles within Valiant, and I didn't jump on the bandwagon, at least with Harbinger right away, so I don't have many of the early issues with this. And one of the reasons why I want to show this is this last weekend when I was at the Comic-Con, I saw a number of the first issues of Harbingers. It's a really hot book right now because there's talks about there being a Harbinger movie. There has been some talk about quite a few different Valiant titles becoming movies. Harbinger, Ninjak, EXO, a number of these titles are being looked at for being turned into feature films. And with Harbinger, it's kind of Valiant's version of the X-Men. In the Valiant universe, a Harbinger is the equivalent of an Ultra or a mutant or somebody with superpowers. That is what they are called within the Valiant world. If you are a Harbinger, you are somebody who has abilities or superpowers. And within the creation of this world, there was a movement that was started by a gentleman by the name of Toyo Harada, who was what they call an Omega Harbinger, somebody who can manifest their own powers or bring out powers in somebody else. And he took advantage of being able to do that and creating this big, huge corporation called the Harbinger Foundation. And he managed to create his own task force for enforcing the way he wants things done. And you see that with like the hardcores, and he calls them egg breakers, but using bringing out the powers in these people, their abilities that are within them, and then using them to, just using them. Anyway, it was a group of these Harbingers that decided to basically put up a Harbinger resistance, and that is the basis for this group of young people that are part of these storylines. The primary characters, at least at the beginning, is Sting, who also has these psychic abilities, telekinesis, and it very much, I think of Toyo Harada very much like as a bad villain version of Professor X. And the primary character in this group here is a kid that calls himself Sting, which has very similar abilities, and is also an Omega Harbinger, and he's able to bring out and help people find their own powers as well. Anyway, you also have Chris, who's part of the team, who doesn't have any powers, but she's kind of well, in the beginning she's a cheerleader, but she's very intelligent, and it kind of is the person who helps keep the group together. Then you also have Zephyr, also known as Zeppelin, but many of you may know her these days because she has her own title called Faith. She is, like I said, there's a resurgence of a lot of these Valiant titles, and like I said, they actually created a separate title, title with her first name, rather than calling her Zephyr or Zeppelin as she's previously been known, but her given name is Faith, and that is the title for her own comic book these days. Then you also have Flamingo, who is a controls flames and Torque, the strong guy. That is where this group starts. Doesn't necessarily where it finishes over the course of the line. You wind up having new members and other members going off and or dying. Anyway, but I'll let you read the books to find that out. There are 41 issues in this run, this volume 1 run of Harbingers from 92 to 95. Like I said, I got on this train for Harbingers kind of late. So of the first books 1 through 10, I only own one. And that is number 5, which is the one that you've been looking at. And as you can see, it includes an appearance by Solar there as well. Story on this was written by Jim Shooter and Janet Jackson. No, not that Janet Jackson, but... And the cover art here is by David Lapham and Bob Layton. This is also one of several books that have the coupon on the inside and the trading card that you can use to get the 0 issue, the Harbinger 0, the origin stories. Of course, these are worth more if you keep the coupons intact in the books. But that is the one that I have. And then we go all the way from 5, we jump all the way up to number 11. Like I said, I don't have much in the very beginning of this run, and these days, because of the talks of the movie and the popularity and the resurgence and the popularity of Faith, those first sets of books are hard to get at a decent price. You're looking at number 11. This shows on the cover here, there is an appearance in here of the Hardcore who are hunting down members of Harbinger. The cover art here is done by David Lapham. As well as number 12, which is the next one here as well. Number 13 is a rather famous cover. Of course, it's not this cover that's famous, it's the one that they swiped it from. This is Frank Miller Batman cover swipe for Harbinger 13. Both the cover here and the story were done by David Lapham. And then I jump from 13 up to 17, so I'm missing 14 and 15 and 16 in there. I thought I had 15 at one point. So I've gotten rid of quite a few books when I sold them off and trying to figure out what it is I do and don't have, so... then we go from 17, I have a full run from 17 all the way to 27, and it does look like in this run of those books, those 11 books, all of the writing is done by Maurice Fontenot, or Fontenay, and then there's a variety of cover artists along the way. If you can see on the very front cover is an appearance by a new Harbinger, Camouflage. And the cover art here is done by Howard Simpson and Bob Layton. It's number 17 of Harbinger. Number 18, first appearance of this character right here by the name of Screen. Introducing Screen. Cover art here done by Howard Simpson and Bob Layton. No, sorry. This one, cover art's done by Howard Simpson and Kevin Nolan. Sorry. Number 19. Cover art here once again done by Howard Simpson and Kevin Nolan. And it is the first appearance of a character by the name of Stunner. Number 20. Cover art is done by Howard Simpson, and Simpson actually works with Fontenot as a writer on this one as well. Number 21. This is a cover art done by Howard Simpson. Harbinger 22. Cover art done by Howard Simpson and Joe Rubinstein. And as you can see here as well, you do get an appearance by Archer. Number 23. Cover once again is done by Howard Simpson and Joe Rubinstein. Number 24. Now this is a cover swipe as well. It is a cover swipe of their very own. This is a variation on their very first issue. What is kind of their iconic picture of all of them in the car there, but it's actually it's crashing and cracking and falling apart here. But it is basically a cover swipe of their very first issue as well, this being number 24. Number 25 here, you have both Sting and Toyo Harada facing off against each other. This is a double-sized issue of Harbinger. This is a cover done by Howard Simpson and Kevin Nolan. Number 26, the new Harbingers. There is a little bit of a change in the dynamic of the group and members of the group in this issue because of the outcome of the previous storyline. This cover here is also a little bit of a change in in who is doing the covers. You have Sean Chen and Andrew Wendell on cover art here. And then here, 27 and 28 are both have cover art by Sean Chen and Joe Rubinstein. Be number 27. '28. And then the very last book I have is number 29 here. I have about 2/3 of, well, I'm missing the first 10, so I have, what, 20? So I'm about halfway. I have about half of the books in this run. Anyway, that is the Harbingers. I thought I'd show this off, like I said, because it is a fairly popular title right now because of the talks of the potential of a movie of this. So I thought I would show this off. Once again, Harbingers, Valiant Comics. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you do, hit like, subscribe if you want to watch more. Feel free to leave any feedback or comments down below. And thank you for watching.